Hi, welcome back to Data Leaps. In today's video, we're going through the new updated Power BI template for Databricks cost analysis and cross-charging. So in the beginning of this year, my coworker Marius and I released version 1 of this, helping you to analyze your costs on Databricks as well as attribute costs to certain projects or cost centers. Ever since then, system table has evolved quite a lot, adding in new tables and giving you more information on the metadata, the compute, and the running of the events. So we made improvement for this template, including getting rid of some of the manually populated table before, like the warehouse table. You had to previously map out the warehouse ID to the warehouse name. Since now that's part of the system table, you don't have to do that anymore. We also made the improvement so your analysis on the Power BI report is a lot more granular and gives you more insight. Without further ado, let's take a look at the template. So here I am in the first page of the Power BI template. This is a scorecard meant to be execs that either implement Databricks or hold the budget. So you can see how much $DBU you have spent, what's months to date, year to date, how many workspaces you have, and also months on months, how much you've spent. Now, typically, your spending on Databricks should be relatively steady, potentially slowly going up as you add more workload to it. You shouldn't see massive red spikes here unless you're doing a massive optimization job. Generally, using the scorecards, you get an idea of the trend of your spending on Databricks, and you can then drill down to it further. So in this cost overview tab, you can group your expenses by different parameters. You can look at your spend by workspace, for instance, or you can take a look at your spend by different type of product in Databricks. And also, for instance, by different SKUs also works. And then depending on which tag you selected and whether all of your compute is tagged, you can also group by different tag as well. So in this case, I have selected the tag name as cost center. That's why this is all cost center names that I'm drilling down with. And if you are a specific person that needs to look at more details, you can also look at the table view. So you can flip over to the table view and then look at group by cost center in this case. But I also then want to further potentially drill down by product, right? So this is going to be different cost centers, and then you can expand this. It will compute, and you can look at by cost center what kind of product is costing you more in Databricks. So it's quite a good way to dissect your costs within Databricks. Now, this is really important to tag your compute, your clusters, your warehouses with the taxonomy that your FinOps decides that you want to do cross-charge or attribute cost with. For instance, I had in here cost center as a tag, environment as a tag, or different project name as a tag. You might have business unit as a tag, or team name as a tag, or owner of the cluster as a tag. So you can have different things that are tagged. You can set up compute policies as well to make sure that all of the compute clusters or warehouses, when they're spun up, they are associated with the right type of tags that you want to attribute costs or cross charge with. And if you're a workspace owner, for instance, you can look at a specific workspace as well. to say within this workspace, how much spending did I do across different periods and in different type of compute. I might want to draw down by a different parameter. So instead of looking at product line, I want to look at whether something is serverless or not. So you can take a look at within certain workspace, what is serverless spend, maybe by products, for instance. So you can see with all purpose or with SQL, how much is serverless versus how much is not. So it's quite good for you to do detailed analysis. And then the next page basically stayed pretty similar to the last version of the template, which is our total spend is this, and then we can draw down by, for instance, tag value. So in this case, we are choosing cost center, but I can also choose projects. And then this will render to the projects. And then for competitive analysis, the top driving product line was SQL, and the driving kind of SKU is SQL Serverless Enterprise. And this is the workspace that's driving that. And you can draw all the way down to look at the key drivers behind your high cost in certain months if you narrow it down to certain months, for instance. The next page you have is top 10 analysis. You want to potentially look at top 10 workspaces, for instance. So if we select all of the workspaces, and we select that text as cost center. So we want to rank top 10 workspaces. You can see what are the most cost driving workspaces. You might want to look at top 10 projects that's driving your costs as well. You might want to look at maybe top 10 products or top 10 SKUs. So this is a good way for you to look at the top driving compute or top driving project or top driving workspaces behind your cost. So this is the report navigation bit of the new template that we have designed. The setup and the customization of this template stay the same. So you set up exactly the same way as V1, and the customization tips stays the exact same. All there is different is the report navigation bit. So for the setup, you still need to do the workspace mapping of workspace ID and workspace name, just because system tables workspace table is not out yet. In terms of the improvements, roadmap items for this template, we're looking to mapping long-running jobs and long-running queries. Again, this is to help you identify the key drivers, the big ticket items on your costs. And this goes level like even further than just compute. It goes down to the job level and the query level. And the next thing we are going to mapping is the infra costs. So system tables is going to mapping the cloud infrastructure costs soon. And once they do that, we will be mapping in infra cost for you as well. So within the same Power BI template, you'll be able to see how much Databricks is costing you versus the Azure VM cost or the AWS VM cost. We're looking to mapping the most frequent run as, and this is important because especially for jobs, you want to run them as service principals rather than a user principal, for instance. And then we also are looking to map in tech health checks. So really you want 100% of your compute tagged by however you want to do cost attribution. So we will help you identify how many or what percentage of your clusters are tagged and which ones are untagged, so you can go and tag them. Hope you enjoy this new version of the templates. Comment to let us know if you want us to make future improvement to this in V3, and hopefully we'll come out with V3 very soon. Thank you for watching Data Leaps. If you think the content is useful, please like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it.